It's Rhea Online. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show that's all about empowering, encouraging, and celebrating the girl child. I'm Rhea Kopi, your host for today. Now, burnout is something that we rarely ever talk about. It is a state of chronic stress that leads to physical, emotional, psychological exhaustion. And there was a study that was made that 67% of millennials experience extreme pressure to succeed. The rise and grind generation did admit that social media is one of the triggers that make them feel this way. Now today, sitting next to me is a young, dynamic digital entrepreneur by the name of Tumie Nthutang. Hi Tumie. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. You are quite the busy one. That is why I was like, the perfect person for this topic is you.
Yeah.
You just explain to us what exactly that you do as a digital entrepreneur so that people can understand.
Okay. I think first and foremost, I blog.
Okay.
So in essence, I create content, and that is what birthed digital entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Where I work with various brands to raise awareness towards them. So it's marketing basically. I create content. So you can call me up as Rhea and say, listen, this is what I want people to know about Rhea Online on your platforms. How can you create content that's authentic and relatable in my regard as Rhea Online?
Yeah. And then how's your schedule like in a day? Just give us that.
I wake up at 4:30. From 5 to 6, I'm in the gym. 6 to 6:15, I drive back home, eat, and then at 8, I leave the house. Because this past semester, my first class was at 9.
Yeah.
So then I'd be in class from 9, 10 to 11, and then 11 to 12. 12, I drive back home, make something to eat, and then after lunch, I start working. Then after lunch, I do either the styling, because I'm also a stylist, source fabrics, do consultations with clients, or then I do the proposals, I do the meetings, and the marketing stuff.
You did not even breathe. I'm just like, that is a lot.
It's a lot.
Do you feel any pressure though to succeed with all of these things that you're doing?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yes, in the sense that when you I always say to people, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Okay.
And I believe that. So when you're given all these opportunities, there's always pressure and eyes to say, okay, let's see if she can match up. Even if it's a client, you want to impress. You don't want a situation where people trust you with a brand or trust you with our looks if I'm styling them and you just can't deliver.
Yeah.
And no, because I started this because I love it. So I started it within my parameters. There's no guidelines. Nobody can say to me, today you failed to go to the gym. You failed to go to your meeting. You failed to do this. If I can say, you know what, I've decided to free up an hour, I have nobody to say, why didn't you not free up that hour? You know what I mean? So it's a bit of yes and no, I'll say. Yeah.
But how do you feel? I feel like, with your busy schedule, there's sometimes that you probably are just too low and you don't want to do anything. Yeah. How do you get through that?
I sleep. Like I allow myself to be in the moment. Like I'm a very present and intentional person. So if I am tired, I accept that I'm tired and I don't beat myself up for being tired. But what does that do? That means tomorrow I need to work 10 times harder because I allowed myself a moment.
You're in the social media space. That is literally where you make your bread and butter.
Right.
And there, anyone can say anything about you, air their own opinion about you.
Yeah.
Doesn't that ever trigger not even a bit of anxiety on you?
It does, but I don't know. For some reason, I've maybe come across maybe 1 or 2 times where somebody had something negative to say. And you need to understand, I've been doing this for about 4 years.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd like to say, and I'm very thankful as well that I haven't received bad press.
Yeah.
But during those times where I had maybe a funny comment or a funny post, I just need to. I always say to myself, it's not personal. But if you then say, I feel like you're not a kind person, that's when I get affected. Because I feel like that now you're talking about me personally. And sometimes you don't even know me based on the pictures. But if you're attacking the fact that today my lips are pink instead of red, I'm just like, it's fine. It's part of my work. I create content for beauty stuff as well. So you're bound to say, let me go check out what lipstick she's wearing today. And if you don't like it, it's not personal. I like what you said that, it's not personal. I think that emotional intelligence is really important. With the job that you do. Just share a bit on that. Okay, so for me, I think it's important because you need, like I'm saying, to be able to detach the two. Also just how to deal with, it's not always yeses. I don't always get the campaign. I don't always get the meeting or get the email response that I want. So one, you need the emotional intelligence to know when you don't get the yes, to be able to deal with the no. That's one. And then two, to deal with social media, because like you're saying, anybody can say absolutely anything.
Any Jack and Jill.
You need to know intelligence-wise in terms of the content you put out on each platform.
You know, there's this thing that was going on social media that while you were sleeping, I was working while you were sleeping, and I think a lot of people just have that pressure to always be working, even at times when you don't need to be working. Why do you think that triggers it?
Because everybody posts results, and nobody posts when they're tired or when they're frustrated, or nobody ever talks about it. So when Tumie is constantly posting results, it's campaigns after campaigns, it's clients after clients, you are bound to feel like it means this girl never rests, or she never has no's, or she's never frustrated, and you feel the need to then do the same. But fact of the matter is, we go home and we're tired, and we talk about it. I mean, and I'll say we as in just generally people who are in the social media sphere. But in terms of me personally, I can confidently say, I can say when I'm tired. I can say, shucks, man, I need a drink. It's been a long day. You know what I mean? Because I've created my content in such a way that people are not shocked when I say certain things to you. Because people can relate. There are times I'm just like, what's happening? I can't study. I can't focus. And I'm not trying to say, oh my God, yes, I went to school. Yes, I went to work. Yes, I went to the gym, to make the other person feel like they're just chilling. No, I have my moments and I talk about them.
Oh, it's always a pleasure having a chat with you. We're doing it for the second time in front of the cameras because we love you. I just want you to do something briefly for me. Just look at that camera right there, and speak to that young girl who sees your post, or not even you, maybe someone else that's always working, and they just feel pressure to succeed. What would you say to them?
Firstly, keep at it. And it takes time. Like, this is so cliche because you're probably thinking, girl, you're saying it takes time, but you're happy. But fact of the matter is, we've been doing this for years. Like, I started this journey about 4 years ago, and it's only now that I'm seeing the results. And sometimes for somebody, they get into something, after 2 months they see results. People are different. You need to be content with who you are as a person before we even talk about work. And are you okay with who you are? That's very important, because if you're okay with who you are able to then detach yourself from certain things, even if they're not working your way. And rest, applaud yourself, spoil yourself when you have done good stuff, and pray.
Be content with yourself. The words of Tumie Nthutang. I really hope that you are inspired, and we're going to continue this chat in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. It's Rhea Online.
I can sleep 8 hours, 9 hours. Even 2 hours is okay.
I sleep for about 5 hours in a day. Yeah, I'm very hardworking, by the way.
Hi, what's your hairline?
Because you see people posting about their lives, but it's not such a big deal. But most people put pressure on you because they'll be talking about how successful they are. But what you have to know is that you have to know how those people attained whatever they have.
Yes. Banyana le bujalo na rata le bujalo le banyana la dikolo he ke maka.
No. Nna ke tsamaya ka level ya mehela. Ke tsamaya ka level ya mehela e ke kgonang, because ha o ka dira ka pressure ya motho o mongwe o hella o sa dire dio tse leng tsona, o hella o tsana mo dikolotong o batla gore o direng.
Welcome back to the show. It's Rhea Online, and we're talking about the pressure to succeed. And joining me right now is Mrs. Ashley Thaba, an author, housewife, and the owner of the Facebook blog Mom to Mom Parenting Consultations. Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good to be here.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks, I'm happy to be here.
I remember I had you on the radio show, and I told you I need you on the TV show.
Yes.
Thank God we're doing this. Now, there's a lot of pressure to succeed, and you are doing the unconventional. You're a housewife, and people may say that that's not a busy thing. You don't work too hard. care to, explain yourself?
I know. I have people that are like, oh, I'll just leave my kids with you because you're just sitting at home all day.
Exactly.
It's like, no, I mean, but what I do, you have a driver, you have a teacher, you have a cook, you have a maid, you have all of these different people that do the job that I'm doing. So it's not, it's very busy when you're at home, especially, well, I'll say it's very busy if you're an involved parent. I'm involved in the education of my children. I'm involved in cooking their meals, driving them to afternoon activities. So, it's definitely not something where I'm not busy.
Well, what's your schedule like on a daily?
Well, right now, because I've just written my third book, Dive In, I'm doing a lot of public speaking and public writing, so that's creating a lot of busyness around that. But generally, it's just a matter of really, I am homeschooling my kids, so that's like 8 to 1 every day. It looks like me being with my kids, homeschooling them. And then there's lunch, and then there's taking kids to soccer and ballet and play dates and helping with homework and then preparing dinner. And then getting bedtime and it's full. And then I do a lot of consultations with parents who come to ask me questions about various topics dealing with marriage and parenting and just all things to do with family.
So you're a housewife and clearly your schedule is busy just like anyone else, but someone might just ask themselves, what is success to you? Because we think that success is actually going to an office and working and getting your own money. How do you define success?
That's a really good question. Well, I think for me, because as a Christian, I'm looking more like eternally and long term. And so my goals are more in trying to make a difference in the world around me and trying to raise kids that will be hopefully responsible kids with moral integrity. And so my idea of success would be to raise up kids that will be able to operate independently, that will be able to give back to society instead of becoming these people we hear about, the young people who are entitled and are drained and we have problems. So those are my definitions of success. Also, if I'm in a marriage that I'm enjoying, that it's happy and healthy, that's what I consider success. So when I get to help people, that makes me feel like my day mattered and I have a purpose in my life. So I'm not concerned with putting money in the bank account. I mean, money is good, but it's not the thing that drives me as compared to sharing love and experiencing love in my life.
So then do you ever feel the pressure to, work and do the conventional things that we know to be?
I don't personally, because I personally find a lot more joy in making an impact on people relationally. And so I don't usually make my decisions based on what's going to make me money. Obviously, I like when I get paid, but even if it doesn't happen, I derive so much joy and peace from helping others that I'm okay even if I have to eat beans or homeschool my kids because maybe I don't drive the nicest car, but I have a purpose in my life that makes me proud of who I am and what I do.
Now, for a young person who, right now they feel like I want to get this and that and that, work. They don't want to be housewives. They don't want to stay at home. What would you say to them? What advice would you say to them?
Well, first of all, it's very hard to make that decision before you actually have a child. Because I can tell you, before I had a kid, the thought that I was going to be a housewife was like, there's no way. But then you have this little piece of, like God is giving you this child, and it's like, it's up to you to raise this child. And so I guess what I would say is, I've lived life long enough to realize that sometimes the things that you think will make you happy, getting the nicer car, getting the nicer clothes, they actually still leave a bit of a hole in your soul, you know? But yet when you pour love into the people around you and you are proud of what you're doing because you're instilling values into another human being that will raise up and hopefully help the world around that person. It's much more fulfilling, I think, than just trying to please yourself and doing whatever is good for you. You know? So I would say to that person to maybe try living your life more about others than just yourself and see which one is more fulfilling in the end.
Do you ever rest though?
No,
How do you rest?
I don't.
With the kids
I usually go to bed at like 1 o'clock. I wake up at like 5 or 6 every morning. No, I don't sleep very much. I don't rest.
You don't rest?
No, not often. I'll do that when the kids are out of the house, I think. Because the thing for me is I'm with my kids.
So you never feel exhausted?
I feel exhausted all the time. I just, it's just like, the thing is with kids, like I said, I'm very hands-on, so I'm with them all the time during the day. And then because I have my own personal goals with the website, the Facebook and helping parents, and I do a lot of writing, then I do that after the kids go to bed at night. And so I tend to put the kids to bed 7, 8 o'clock, and then I'm still up till midnight. And my husband and I have a really, we want to make sure every day we talk about everything we do every day. So that doesn't usually happen when the kids are awake, because when the kids are there, it's, getting interrupted, mommy, all the time.
But then how do you unwind? What's your ideal way of resting?
I mean, I guess just maybe watching a movie with my husband or just staying up. My husband and I just like lay in bed and talk every night for like an hour or two. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I don't get sleep, but I feel rested.
Yeah.
I also get a lot of strength from just spending time with God. It fulfills me and gives me rest internally. So I feel a sense of internal peace. So even when the world around me is kind of crazy,
Yeah.
I draw strength from within and from above. So
Wow.
I never feel exhausted to the point that it affects me. I just feel physically sometimes like, tired.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashley Thaba. I would love to continue this conversation, but we got to go for a quick commercial break.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. It's Rhea Online, and as you can hear with the guests that are coming on our show, basically it's all about what works for you. We're going to continue this conversation with a psychologist this time around. Don't go anywhere. It's Rhea Online. Welcome back to the show. It's Rhea Online. We're still talking about the pressure to succeed. And joining me is a beautiful, intelligent young woman by the name of Kim Wame, who is a psychologist. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. Now, you're a psychologist, so you definitely, encounter different cases, right? Mm-hmm. And now, according to a research that was done by occupational medicine specialists, the most prevalent cause of fatigue is the lack of restorative sleep. And the complaint of fatigue is high in general population in range of 18.3% to 27%. What's your take on that?
High.
Yeah.
I think what we need to notice or speak about is really the role of sleep and the role of rest in restoring the body.
Yeah.
Right? The sleep, its function is its function is to reset and reboot the brain, because the brain functions throughout the whole day 24/7. And so it's important then to get sleep whenever you can, or when it's necessary to get sleep.
And how do you know what works for you? How do you see if, okay, maybe I'm an 8-hour person, maybe I'm a 4-hour person? How can you tell?
I think you tell with generally how you function during the day. If you sleep too little, you will know, because you'll get tired easily. You won't be able to concentrate. And if you sleep too much, or if you're sleeping for a longer period of time than necessary, you will tend to get slowed down during the day. You won't be as alert as you would have been if you have slept enough hours during the day.
Why do you think that young people don't respect or regard sleep as very important? They'd rather hustle and work and study and do anything else but sleep.
I think there's a culture these days that's being perpetuated that, sleep is not important. It's always important to be out there working, grinding, not giving yourself time off.
But then where do we draw the line between being lazy and always resting and just taking rest because you've been working hard?
Where do we draw the line? I think it's in relation to, your goals as a person. You need to be able to realize that, this is what works for me as a person. What schedule works for me is not necessarily the same as what would work for somebody else. So you need to really know yourself and how you function to be able to tell, okay, how I'm just being lazy and how I'm taking the stress or I'm taking the rest that I really need.
Yeah. Has social media been a case, or should I say, has it come up in any of your cases, just the pressure to succeed, that pressure?
Definitely. You find that people, we're a very technologically savvy generation. So we spend a lot of time on the internet, be it, whatever social network you're on. And, the people that are on these social networks, you find that they really tend to, there's a need to model behavior. If so-and-so is successful, I want to be as successful as so-and-so. So I'm going to watch their life closely in their social media. And you find that there's this whole, image that people give off that, I don't rest. I'm always working. I'm doing this today, I'm doing that tomorrow, I'm doing that the other day. And then we learn that and we try to model that behavior that, okay, I shouldn't rest. If I want to be like Rhea, then I shouldn't rest. I should be doing this, that all the time, which then doesn't work for you ultimately, because Rhea rests. She just doesn't tell you about her resting.
What are some of the effects that, a person who is really exhausted, what do they then do? How do they think? How do they feel? How does it affect their personal life, their work life, according to the cases that you have encountered?
In terms of the effect of fatigue and lack of sleep on the brain, it slows your brain down. So there's a lot of cognitive impairment, memory loss, lack of attention, lack of focus, because the way in which the brain works is that it has sort of neurons, and neurons are little things that send messages across the body, across the brain and across the body. So if you do not sleep, then these neurons are slowed down, so you are unable to process information as quickly or as optimally as you would. So when you're not resting now, your brain is sort of slowing down, and you get frustrated because you feel like I'm not achieving what I need to achieve. I'm not being as successful, or I'm not as smart as I was when I first started out. When the true case is that you're just not resting, so your brain is not having enough time to reboot and reset. It also has impact on your social life, because if you're always working, at what time do you see your family? At what time do you see your friends? And these are very important people who we use as social support. You need them to tell you, oh, you're doing great, or you need time to rest, or you need time to do this. So it also has bearing on your social life, and sometimes fatigue has impact on sexual drive as well, which has repercussions if you're in a romantic partnership with somebody. So it's really important to always just notice how, if you are going over the top, but really just paying attention to these signs. And you find that attention and cognition, these are things that are needed in the everyday work life. And so if you do not give preference to rest, then you will also suffer occupationally.
And there's one thing I know that I have a problem with, and I need to work on it, is that I tend to work so much that I don't make time for my social life, my family, my friends. The people that you're probably seeing me around, it's work. It's not really like I'm having that relationship with them, What can you say about that? Because I heard you mention just the importance of having those social relations to your mind.
It's very important to be able to draw on your social support systems, because you find that, high stress jobs, perpetuate or predispose you to, mental health issues. You deal with anxiety, you deal with depression, and for the most part, it's always important to draw in the social support.
Wow. I'm just blown away. I'm really just blown away. The importance of the social aspect. It's incredible.
Vital.
It's really vital. Wrapping up though, I'd just love for you to face that camera right there and just give an advice to one who is working so much, hustlers, entrepreneurs, whatever it is, give an advice to them with regards to exhaustion and just working so hard.
I would just tell everybody to take time off. And taking time off doesn't necessarily mean that, you spend a week not working, even if it could be just 10 minutes a day to meditate, take a nap, take a bubble bath, take time off to be able to allow yourself to be sharper and more effective in the future.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kim, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You've been a true inspiration, and we are definitely equipped from what you said.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome. We are wrapping up our episode on the pressure to succeed. You heard it from Kim and the guests that were here. Choose what works for you, and remember to take time off. Don't feel bad about it. From me, myself, and I, it is bye.